This is the Lost Coast Trail, located in Humboldt County in the Kings Mountain Range in Northern California. It is 25.5 miles, starts at Mattole Beach, ends at Black Sands Beach. Has 3 impassable zones, but the 2 there you see in the large rectangles are about 4.5 miles apiece, and you have to time the tides very well on those. You do need to have a bear canister there, so we loaded our bear canister up. We packed our bags, we headed north to San Francisco, and 4.5 hours after that, we ended at the King Range, where we met our shuttle bus driver, Blue, who took us around the 50 miles around the Lost Coast Trail, dropped us off at Mattole Beach. After being dropped off at the Mattole campground, we started our hike. There's a little gate there, and soon you are right smack on the beach. Lost Coast, here we come.
Lost Coast, here we come.
Soon after you pass the gate there at the Mattole parking lot, you're gonna be right on the beach, walking along there for the next 1.5 miles until you see this mark here, where you'll climb up on the bluff, and then for the next 1.5 miles until you get to Punta Gorda. There is poison oak on the trail, so you want to make sure you have long pants on. There's ticks as well. We didn't encounter any, but they say in the springtime that's more prevalent. So just kind of wear your long pants and just walk along, but it's just very, very scenic views here. Approaching Punta Gorda lighthouse there. We're gonna stop and take a break. The Punta Gorda Lighthouse was built in 1911 and was operational until about 1951, where they decommissioned it. There are no instruments or anything like that inside, but the structure is pretty sound. They do keep it up, they paint it, make sure it is in nice order for visitors there. Alright, we're just outside Punta Gorda Lighthouse. We're making some good time, refreshing some miles. Came across this sea colony, or sea colony, a elephant seal. Got an elephant seal right here, smack on the trail. Alright, so we have to make a quick detour. There's some elephant seals all around us. That's the guy right smack on the trail. We're gonna go this way. He's making some noises. We're not gonna mess with him. We're gonna keep walking. Alright, buddy, enjoy your nap. Alright, we're at Sea Lion Gulch. You can see those sea lions. They're noisy. I don't know if you can pick it up in the video, but they're noisy.
Yeah.
Popular place to tent camp here. We're going to keep moving on though. Shortly after Sea Lion Gulch, we hit the marker, dumped us off on our first boulder field into our first impassable zone. About 4.5 miles. We have a chance to jump out at Cooksey Creek if we need to, if tides get too high, and it ends at Randall Creek. You see here in the chart, you want your numbers under 3 feet, and we have about 3-hour window during this time to do so. We are officially in the impassable zone during high tide, so we're committed to motoring until we get to Cooksey Creek, seeing what the situation is, and if the tide's still low enough, make a run for Randall Creek. We'll see what happens. Arrived at Cooksey Creek here. We're gonna stop here, have lunch, decide what we want to do with the rest of our day. Nice flow. What do you think, Olivia?
Yeah, I like it.
We made it to the end of tidal zone, impassable zone 1. We're at Randall Creek. They were to set up camp here, hang out. We did a really good day for a half day, getting in almost 9 miles. Not bad.
Yeah.
Crush some miles tomorrow. What do you think, Earl?
At first we thought we were gonna camp at the other one, but we decided we would just eat lunch there, and it would make us on us in the morning. Now we don't have to wake up at 5. We can wake up at 7.
All right. Yay, yay!
Yay!
After we had dinner, we set up camp and filtered some water. Olivia there filtering the water. Soaked our feet. Watched an amazing sunset at Randall Creek and watched the tides roll up. And we could see where water was now covering the area where we came in from over to the right. And the next photo you can really see it. And the tide was still coming up about another few feet. So I can see why it's called the impassable zone at certain times. And that is goodbye from day 1. Day 2. We're at Randall Creek on the bluff. This was an adventurous day of many stream crossings, boulder fields, walking on bluffs, just seeing this low-level grasses here and brushes. Just an amazing, amazing scenery. Little video. All right, on the bluff here, looks like we're going through some floral forest. I'm glad I took my Allegra because I was sneezing. Creek. All right, we arrived at Spanish Creek here. It's a beautiful little spot, about 10 miles into the Lost Coast Trail. As we were leaving Kinsey Creek, we started to notice a lot more pines on the trail, more pine trees. We also noticed that the fog was getting thicker and thicker rolling in. And as we went down this bluff here, you could see the boulder fields waiting for us down there. So we were getting mentally prepared for that nice walk. Walking through a boulder field here outside of Big Creek. This is what's been dubbed as ankle breakers. As you're walking, so be careful. Soon after Big Flat Creek, we jumped right back down into the final impassable zone with bailout zones in Shipman and Buck Creek before finishing at Gitchell Creek. It's about 4.5 miles and right on to the boulder field. You can see here we have about a 2.5 to 3 hour window to get through at a low tide. We are a good chunk away of the final impassable zone for the next 4 miles. You see the tide's coming up. It's actually receding for the next 2 hours before it comes back up, so we got to hustle it, but we're doing pretty well. We're going to make it. Woo-hoo! Lost Coast! Here's where we really start to notice in the second impassable zone the landscape change. You can see from the grasses and small bushes and shrubs that they had in the first 15 miles of the trail, you see these large trees growing out from the side of the mountains and just a lot more lush and green. Almost looks a bit prehistoric to me. Day 2. Almost 15 miles in and she's still crushing miles. Awesome. We are able to clear the final impassable zone and get to Gitchell Creek where we camped for the night and set up tent and enjoyed being out of that final impassable zone. Day 3, we're gonna head back in. Filtering some water this morning. Breaking camp early in the morning at the lowest tide allowed us to walk on the compacted sand. When combined with the overcast weather, made it for some cruisy miles back to Black Sands Beach. Also because of the low tide, we were able to see some black bear tracks, and these tracks went right up to the mountains that you see here. And we only missed it probably either by minutes or maybe a couple hours at most. We are just wrapping up the Lost Coast Trail. We are done. Olivia, say woo woo. So we wrapped it up 25.5 miles over over 2.5 days. Do some of the most beautiful and rugged terrain. Crazy to climb, or not climb, but crazy to maneuver. But beautiful, beautiful, beautiful coast in the Kings Mountain Range. So awesome. There's a parking lot there on the bluff. So you just make a quick left from the beach. Easy to pass, but if you have a map and GPS, you should be able to find it. At the end of the beach walk here, you will have your paved road. You'll see Humboldt Creek right there to your right, small little creek. And you'll just follow this path all the way back up to the Black Sands beach parking lot. There you'll see some signs, and there's some other little information stops about the area, what animals and things are there and what to look for. So you'll just follow this path, the sidewalk all the way up to the right. This is the same parking lot, the Black Sands Beach parking lot, where the shuttle bus will pick you up and then take you to the Mattole trailhead. You can park in this parking lot, so you can leave your car there for the few days. There's never really been any issues of break-ins, but you want to lock up and make sure your stuff is secure and then out of view just to be safe. And it's a pretty big parking lot. I mean, there's not a ton of parking spaces, but I think there's like 50. There's our medals there that we commemorated our hike with. And then there you go. Here's just a visual overlay of the hike here, starting at Mattole, heading south. And remember, if you do want to do this hike, you know, it's one that you do have to plan for. First, secure your permit. Then, you know, keep an eye on the weather because it can change and the conditions out there can be tough. Remember, the impassable zones, have the tide charts ready. Make sure you can pass safely because it really does become impassable. 60 people can enter in the summer months. 30 people can enter in the off season. The off season can be cold and treacherous. It is in Northern California. But that's the hike there. And thanks for watching. And yay, yay!